Martin Luther King was an activist and a pastor of the American Baptist Church on Dexter Avenue in the 20th century. He was born on January 15 in 1929 in Atlanta and was the median of three brothers. At the age of 15, he entered to the Morehouse College, a university located in Atlanta and destined for African American people, which he will graduate 3 years later in sociology. He also completed his specialization in theology in Boston City. He was known mainly by fight peacefully against racial segregation and discrimination in the United States, recite the famous speech "I Have a Dream," which we will talk about later. Also, it's important to know that on October 14 in 1964, with only 35 years, he received the Nobel Peace Prize. And after receiving this recognition, Martin Luther King continued his fight for equality of the black race until April 4 in 1968, when he was killed in a motel in Memphis.
The speech "I Have a Dream" is a passionate call to end racism in America. It's one of the main events of the civil rights movement. The speech was delivered by the African American Reverend Martin Luther King, the most recognized leader of the civil rights movement. Dr. King delivered his speech on August 28 in 1963 to 250,000 people. The contest was called the March on Washington for Work and Freedom. One of its aims was to show public support for the legislative reform proposed 2 months early for the President John F. Kennedy in relation to civil rights. The measure, which would be adopted the following year, include the prohibition of discrimination against women or religion, ethnic, racial, or national minorities. In addition, it provides for an end to racial segregation in public places and jobs, and for different requirements to register voters according to the race of the potential voter. Thank you.
What was the speech? One of the objectives of the test was the pay homage to President Lincoln's Gettysburg speech. It develops the theme of the discrepancy between the American dream and reality, assuring that the former has been violated by white supremacists. In a moment of speech, it seemed that Dr. King heard the African American singer Malia Jackson say, "Tell them about the dream, Martin," and there he left the speech, scheduled to address the audience improvised, beginning each phrase with the expression, "I have a dream that one day, I have a dream that one day all men are equal. I have a dream that one day that Mississippi, the sea, transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream one day my 4 children are in a nation that does not judge by their skin color. And finally, I have a dream today."
For us, it's a privilege to see the results of the effort made by social leaders like Martin Luther King. Once again, they make us see that we can generate a change, that we need so much injustice generated by the state and by the different social problems evidenced today in day. We still find hope to improve as a society, as brothers, and as human beings. After so many years of a problem such as racism prevails in us today, but thanks to character like Martin Luther King have achieved great achievements. Processes that start from the speeches of them and where we are partakers of this to decrease, and you can eradicate the problem. We should not shy away from expressing our ideas or being controlled by others. If we have the possibility of generating a change for the good of society, we should do it.
As a final conclusion, we can highlight several aspects that are important to highlight. The word "a place to devote" translates into a fundamental role. It can be called Martin Luther King as a man in history to bring about a change in the way it is seen in the African American citizens, on the side of the great part of discrimination, oppression, and inequality in opportunities. In current times, it is where you can have the history of this speech, I Have a Dream, as a point of reference to try with our actions on a daily basis to continue fighting for this ideal in order to achieve a coexistence in the much more egalitarian society and that strengthens the integral ground of the human being.